Welcome back to our deep dive into the future of jobs.
We're ready to dive in.
We've explored those 5 major trends shaping the future of work. And now we're going to zoom in on some specifics. Get ready for some fascinating insights,
Fascinating.
because we're about to reveal the jobs that are poised for explosive growth and the ones that might be fading into the sunset.
This is what everyone wants to know, right? The rubber meets the road.
Yeah, exactly.
We've talked about the big picture, but now it's time to get granular and see how those trends translate into real-world career opportunities.
Okay, so let's start with the good news. The jobs that are on the rise. And no surprise here, tech-related roles are dominating the list. The report highlights AI and machine learning specialists, data scientists, software developers. Anyone who can tame data and turn it into actionable insights is in high demand.
It's true, and it's not just about coding prowess anymore. The report emphasizes that employers are looking for individuals who can bridge the gap between technical expertise and strategic thinking. They need people who can not only build the algorithms, but also understand how to apply them to solve real-world problems.
So it's not enough to be a tech wizard. You also need to be a business strategist, a creative problem solver, maybe even a bit of a futurist.
Exactly. The report actually breaks down the projected growth of these tech roles, and some of the numbers are truly eye-opening. For instance, the demand for AI and machine learning specialists is projected to surge by over 70% in the next 5 years alone.
Wow.
Think about that for a moment. That's a massive wave of opportunity.
That's a wave I wouldn't mind riding. It seems like those who can ride this technological wave will be in a prime position to shape the future. But it's not just about the tech giants, right? These skills are becoming valuable across a wide range of industries.
Absolutely. We're seeing this demand ripple across sectors, from healthcare to finance to manufacturing. Any industry that relies on data, which is pretty much every industry these days, needs people who can unlock its potential.
So if you're tech savvy and have a knack for problem solving, the future looks bright. But what about those who aren't necessarily coding whizzes? Are there other areas of growth we should be paying attention to?
Well, remember those green jobs we discussed earlier? They're not just a feel-good trend, they're a rapidly growing sector with incredible potential. The report highlights roles like autonomous and electric vehicle specialists, environmental engineers, and renewable energy engineers as being among the fastest-growing occupations.
Oh yeah, I can see why. With the world shifting towards more sustainable practices, these roles are becoming absolutely essential. It's almost like a career pivot towards sustainability could be a win-win. Good for the planet and good for your career prospects.
Exactly. The report actually reveals a fascinating shift. Going green is no longer just an ethical choice. It's becoming a strategic career advantage. Companies are realizing that sustainability is not just about compliance. It's about innovation, efficiency, and attracting top talent.
So we've got tech booming and green jobs sprouting up. Sounds like a pretty optimistic outlook so far. But I know the report also shines a light on the other side of the coin, the jobs that are facing a decline. And this is where things might hit a little closer to home for some of our listeners.
It's true. It's important to address this side of the equation because while there are plenty of opportunities on the horizon, there are also some roles that are becoming increasingly vulnerable to automation and other forces.
Right. I mean, let's be honest. This is the part that makes people nervous. The robots are coming for our jobs. That's the fear, right?
Well, it's not quite that dramatic, but the report does show that certain clerical and administrative roles are facing a significant decline. Think cashiers, ticket clerks, data entry clerks. These are the jobs that are most susceptible to being replaced by technology.
Yeah, I mean, that can sound scary, especially if you're currently working in one of those roles. But the report doesn't suggest these jobs will vanish entirely, right? It's more about a shift in the required skills, isn't it?
That's the key takeaway. The message is not to abandon these fields altogether, but to adapt and evolve along with them. The skills required for these roles are changing, becoming more specialized and demanding a higher level of technological proficiency. Those who are willing to embrace lifelong learning and upskilling will be better positioned to navigate these transitions.
I mean, this might sound concerning to some listeners, but the report offers a solution: becoming a master of adaptation. The future of work is all about continuous learning and reskilling. Even if your job isn't disappearing, it's likely changing in some way. So to stay relevant, you need to be constantly upskilling, acquiring new knowledge, and honing your existing abilities.
Think of it like this. In the past, you might have had one career for life, but in the future, you're likely to have multiple careers, or at least multiple chapters within your career. And each chapter will require you to acquire a new set of skills and adapt to a changing landscape.
So how do we know which skills to focus on? How do we stay ahead of the curve and avoid being left behind? But don't worry, the report has got us covered. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll unveil the top skills of the future. And you might be surprised by what makes the list.